Sally, a woman of loyalty. Sally Lynn, a woman of depth. Sally Lynn Askins, a woman of faith.
A kind, devoted, and truly loving friend, colleague, and teacher.
An iconic professor in the Baylor Theater Department.
She was a uniquely creative artist as well. She crafted so many of my favorite designs in productions like Quilters, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Twelfth Night, A Comedy of Errors, and so many others.
A lifelong costumer and an international traveler.
She lived a life so full and colorful.
One of the best humans to ever have been invented.
An incredibly gifted designer.
Stephen F. Austin University, Dallas Theater Center, Texas Tech University, among others.
And not just the costumes, but her renderings are works of art in themselves.
A master of her craft.
Each person she worked alongside, taught, mentored, and or costumed were immersed with her genuine loyalty.
A mentor to students and colleagues, Sally was hands-on and seriously invested, not just in the work, but in our growth as people.
Art in community. It's about the collaborative energy. It's about being together.
A real beacon of warmth.
Sally's aha changed many lives.
How has Sally influenced my life? How has she not?
To say Sally had an impact on my life would be an understatement.
Sally and I knew each other for over 30 years.
I met Sally when I was really little, like 3.
22 years ago.
30 years ago.
I often remember stepping into her office to talk about a character, and Sally would take a pencil and a blank sheet of paper, scribble for a few seconds, and say, "Is this what you have in mind?" And I'd be looking at a beautiful artistic rendering dashed off right in front of me.
I am lucky enough to have had Sally as my teacher at Baylor University.
Right before I graduated, Sally told me that I needed to go to USITT.
I took makeup from her, including an independent makeup study with her my senior year, which ultimately led to me having a career in the industry.
Got my first 2 jobs out of college because I went.
Sally gave me my first job in college.
This right here, this sword. We use these swords in a production of Oresteia.
When I was playing Mephistopheles in Dr. Faustus, I had decided to do all these really weird things physically.
I was always a hammy kid, and I was a lot of energy.
The summer after my freshman year, she found me a work-study position in the costume shop.
Sally spent extra time specifically customizing and working on this sword for me.
It was a bit of a challenge to figure out how to costume me.
But the thing about Sally was she saw through a lot of that, and she saw me as a designer. She would let me sit with her while she was working on things, and I got to work on things.
That allowed me to stay in Waco my first summer and do a play and move into my first apartment.
She didn't have to do that, but she spent the extra time.
She had no problem, and she created the most beautiful, structured, flexible, classic costume.
But I used to draw things, and then Sally would put them up places near her drawings, and it made me feel like they were the same.
Yeah, I never looked back.
But at the time, I was just a kid, and I didn't really understand how much collaboration was going on, or why so many people were going to Sally for just a hug or to de-stress it.
Not only in costuming, but most definitely in her methods of calling out their sense of worth. Each person was adorned as valued.
But the thing I got to see was how amazing she was as a teacher to non-theater majors.
Sally was like, "I'm gonna make a theater major out of you."
They would talk about how she made them feel.
She didn't, but that's only because there wasn't a double major at the time. I must have taken 60 hours of theater classes after that.
About art and creativity and about themselves.
After class is over and just talk to her about life and everything. But she really did show me like a good example of like a person that actually authentically cared about people.
And Sally never stopped caring for for my future.
And the front office asked me to bring her a package.
Her office was always layered in past and ongoing crafts. Open books, piles of fabric, masks, boots, gloves, hats, ribbons, costume alterations.
Right then the door opens and Sally bursts. Alpaca saddles have arrived. With like tossing wire out of her hands, she grabs the box and undoes it and pulls out these insane alpaca saddles. And she ordered them because she was going to make a vest. A vest.
Sally Lynn's depth was shown by her wide range of research, both in reading, studying, traveling, but also experiencing life through her senses. She was in many ways a scientist.
So often, Sally would ask the questions that got right to the heart of the conceptual approach of a play.
Sally encouraged everyone to have open minds and to understand each other's perspectives deeper.
She never stopped showing me new things, new ways to do things.
Never as a bragger, but as an open and inquisitive explorer.
I loved collaborating with her because she didn't steer me toward easy answers. She prompted discussions that were deep about the stories we were telling and how we could serve them best.
She was a visionary, seeing the big picture through the full investigation of the details.
She is in such a better place, happy to be with her parents and her dear brother.
Sally truly loved her family.
Like we saw it, especially in the way she included her dear mother in so many projects and performances around the theater for so many years.
He loved being an aunt.
She wanted to know our families as well, asking after them and including them in lunches and get-togethers.
Our families became one.
I called Sally my theater mom.
Is to have both my family and then this family in a family.
Her love for people was evident in all of her relationships.
She was an unfailingly kind person to me.
No matter what, it doesn't cost any more to be kind.
Sally Lynn Askins was also a woman of faith.
Such a good Christian, and showed me what true Christianity is.
We'll miss you, Sally, so much, and look forward to seeing you on the other side.
You know she's there, eating chocolate and painting the mountains. She always told me that's what happens when you go to heaven.
Sally Lynn Askins remains an avid, heavenly hippie.
I was in the green room playing guitar, trying to show off, and Sally comes in and says, "Oh, that's a good looking guitar. Can I try it for a second?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." She proceeded to absolutely shred on the guitar, surpassing me easily. And everyone else in the green room, including myself, was shocked. And she gave me back the guitar and said, "Yeah, I'm kind of a 70s chick," and walked out. And it was awesome.
Had the funniest attitudes, the funniest stories.
If you put it in a book, it's a rock star life. It's a rock. Her stories are insane. They're tales.
We have Sally to thank for sparking the idea of the moving light.
Promoting peace, love, and happiness.
She really does deserve to be remembered.
We're going to remember her as an educator and an artist and a friend and that incredibly loving family member, and we hope that you do too.
Sally loved people.
Her legacy will inspire us to love people with the same depth and warmth that defined her life.
And she taught us how to love.
She made people feel seen, and she made people feel creative, and nobody who encountered her ever forgot that. And I'll never forget it either.
I'd like to thank her for that. And a million other things.
Will forever be grateful for somebody who saw me.
I know that while I feel like my experience is very special, I know that there's lots of people who have those experiences with you because you were just magnificent.
We are so much better for having known you, Sally.
She's gonna be so missed. We love you so much, Sally.
Peace dear friend,